Hey viewers, in this video, we're delving into r/AskWomen community as they spill the beans on some seriously unexpected and bizarre discoveries women found out about their partners. You Carbonated Blood asked, "Ladies, what odd things have you uncovered about your partner while they were away from home?"
He lost something and had to go to work before he found it and asked if I'd look for it. I never go into his desk because I never have reason to. I mean, none of it is mine or even ours. But that day, I looked around his desk where I figured the lost item had to be, but it wasn't there. So I started opening drawers when I saw notes. Lots and lots of small handwritten notes, my notes to him. From the small notes of encouragement I occasionally like to hide in his pockets or briefcase or whoever, down to mundane notes reminding him to get the trash bins out in the morning. He saves all my notes to him. I had no idea. After I got over my heart exploding, I found the lost thing in another drawer. It was a good day.
She was journaling about her ex. I wish I had never read her journal, and I've never done this to anyone I've dated. We aren't together anymore.
Seems like a breach of privacy to me.
Absolutely it was. I agree with you.
His nightstand drawer. Most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Filled with empty candy wrappers and other junk. Will never touch again.
My ex literally stored used cups and plates in his nightstand drawer. He never let me go through them, and when we were moving out, I discovered it. Instant disgust. All of them had to be thrown out from the mold growth. He was ex-military too, so you'd think he'd be clean. So glad that's in my past.
Discovered ex-husband had another kid with a married lady years back.
Folks, we're off to a roller coaster ride, so sit tight because these oddities come in hot.
When my BF and I first dated, and I stayed over, I was convinced he was dating someone else because he had a bunch of skincare and extra deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, etc. But once we got to know each other, I just noticed he cares about his skin. He has dry skin. And his grandmother sends him and his brother deodorant, a toothbrush, toothpaste, and tuna once a month. And now I also have a bunch of extra deodorant, toothbrushes, and toothpaste lolly.
Lol, it doesn't bode well for men's general hygiene habits that extra lotion and deodorant are suspicious. I have like 6 extra sticks of deodorant and several different hand lotion throughout my apartment and at work, and I always wonder if someone would find it weird. I just don't like to forget and run out, so I buy a whole bunch at once so I don't have to worry about it for long stretches. Men definitely need to take better care of their skin. Let's normalize dudes with good skincare routines.
Dude, I have like 4 extra sticks of deodorant laying about the house because my mornings are unorganized and I can toss some on from anywhere in the house. Like sometimes I remember to put it on in my bedroom. Sometimes I don't remember until I'm in the downstairs bathroom. It's a weird thing I've never been able to get under control for some reason. My wife was really confused at first, but she doesn't even question it anymore. In fact, she jokes about it sometimes, LOL.
The usual mistaken suspicion and misunderstanding. It's fortunate that they get cleared up in the end.
Late husband died. I was with my BFF cleaning out his office. He was a paralegal, so it took time to go through files to know what to keep for clients and what to get rid of. I got to the last drawer and found sugar-free chocolates, lots of them. He wasn't a sweet eater. I never knew he, his brother, and his dad were diabetic. He didn't take any drugs for diabetes, nor had he ever said any of them were diabetic. It was weird, to be honest. I thought I knew him so well. I guess I didn't.
I wonder if that's how he passed.
Probs not BC, the doctor would have told Op why her husband died, so she would have known well before the sugar-free chocolates.
He claimed he was matching with guys on Grindr, looking for weed, and I made him delete it. But 6 weeks later, I saw Grindr on his phone again.
This is a past partner. He had multiple journals in different colors. Every morning he'd sit at the kitchen table with one while I got ready for work. After having broken up with him, I was grabbing his things. I finally looked through them. All of them were blank except one. It only had a few sentences in it. One sentence said something along the lines of, "I must gain power for bubbly manufacturer," referring to commenter.
Ultraviolet pen. Shoulda broke out a black light, this dude got secrets.
Yeah, this sounds so sketchy.
Totally a browser extension or some whack service.
Is this a failed attempt to look mysterious? Is he a secret agent? Is he secretly a psychopath, or is he just a dork? I guess we'll never know.
Cocaine addiction.
That's a big LMO.
Antibiotics prescribed to some lady. Looked her up and found out he was cheating on me with her daughter and got her pregnant.
His stash of secretly recorded sex tapes, mine included.
I had the same discovery: secret sex tapes and pictures of women's breasts and butts in public. Pictures he secretly took of complete strangers. I also found pictures of me around my home I never knew were taken, often undressed.
What the F is wrong with people?
I snooped through his dresser while he was at work and found an entire drawer full of women's underwear, mostly VS thongs, boy shorts. I confronted him, and he said he liked wearing them because they were more comfortable. Still don't know what to think about that. We broke up a few years ago.
This happened to me as well when looking for a pair of my own spandex shorts, and immediately thought cheating. But further investigation uncovered a big box full of dildos, wigs, makeup, stockings, etc. I honestly was cool with the fact that he liked cross-dressing anal play and was open to bringing it into our relationship, but he was so ashamed and closed off about it. Said it was something he liked to do alone. He was otherwise psychotic, and it was a very traumatic relationship, so we broke up for other reasons pretty quickly.
I totally get it. I wanted him to feel safe about it, and even offered to buy him some newer pairs so he wouldn't feel awkward going in and buying them alone. Even gave him a couple pairs of mine. He ended up cheating on me, found his Snapchat history, and it was atrocious, hence why I'm not really sure what the real truth of the situation was.
That he really meant it when I use too many cups a day. They're all the same color. I have ADHD, and honestly don't recall if I got a new cup out. He's very tidy with dishes, and when I get a new one, he puts the old away. He was gone 2 days for a boys' trip, and I used 6 water glasses. He really is the other half of my brain. You really realize how much your partner does once they're gone.
A jerk-off album filled with photos of my closest friends and younger sister.
Like a digital album or printed out photos?
Hidden album on his phone.
Yikes, how unsettling. It's hard to fathom someone betraying trust, which is oftentimes hard to build to such an extent.
An insane amount of toothbrushes in multiple places.
Secret smoker or ED eating disorder. I have been both at various times in my life and had multiple toothbrushes in strange locations. I am no longer either, and now I have boxes of unopened toothbrushes in weird locations because I'm still in the habit of buying an extra toothbrush when it's on sale and throwing it wherever. Then I just go looking through all the junk drawers in any house when the brush in the bathroom, the only one I use on my teeth, for an unopened box. I do still have old toothbrushes lying around, but for cleaning, and obviously so as they have cleaning chemicals and gunk on them, unlike the ones left near a bottle of water and pack of Listerine gels back in the day.
His obsessive porn collection. I don't mind porn. Never really cared before, but he had discs upon discs upon discs stacked, and all of it was porn. In an era where you can stream everything, anytime basically. It was alarming.
What happened next? Are y'all still together?
Not anymore, but for a long time after that, we were. Married him and everything. Thought it was a young dude thing and he'd mature out of it. Thought me calling him out about being all secretive and sketchy about it would snap him out of it, but as far as I know, he's still hoarding it. When we were married, we briefly stopped having internet as a way to try to help him break the habit. But smartphones became a more common thing, and that just put him right back in it. I still don't give a rat's ass about the porn. It was the obsession part of it. You don't let it take over your life like that. Don't let it keep you from your spouse, family, etc.
Herpes.
Finding out something like these about your partner is definitely disappointing and concerning. Another cases of breaking trust, everyone.
How many flosser pics he has and in how many locations?
I accidentally found my engagement ring before he proposed. Luckily for me, he proposed only a week later. Torture.
He left his email open while he was away. I found out that he had solicited prostitutes in the beginning of our relationship. It broke my heart and made me feel completely unworthy and disgusted. If I wasn't pregnant, I'd have left.
Pictures of me underage, scantily clad. The strange part is, the person who took them was an ex I was dating at the time, and they've never met and live thousands of miles away from each other. Still baffles me every now and then.
Found a hairdryer under the sink when I was looking for Band-Aids. Normal, except he's bald. Turned out it was for his cosplay wig.
A fortune cookie paper I wrote on when we first started dating that had a little picture I drew in his wallet. Again, I don't go through his things, but he asked if his gas card was in there for work, and I took cards out and it slipped out. It def made me cheesy.
An escort website. Fucking joy. That's great for my self-esteem, eh? It's called TNA if anyone's so is audacious enough to look at it in front of you and you lovingly believe their BS.
I was cleaning the house before we moved. I didn't like the bedside tables, so I was going to clean and try to sell them on Marketplace. Turns out my boyfriend was taking off his single-use contacts while lying in bed and putting them in his nightstand drawer. There were 100s of them. IDK what he thought. Were they going to disappear? Did he plan to go back and clean it? He never did. He couldn't even answer me why.
What a wild ride of discoveries. Some of these surely leave us scratching our heads and scrunching our faces. Let's hear more about the rest.
Happily married now, but an ex-boyfriend from like 16 years ago worked long and late hours. His shifts were around 2 p.m. to 2 a.m., and I'd get hella bored during the day. I decided to clean under his bed one day. I told him beforehand. Found all sorts of random things, but notably Viagra. We chatted about it afterwards. Performance anxiety was the reason he gave. 2, he left his Facebook open, and I was trying to switch over to my own Facebook, and he had all these messages open. He was sending all these horny messages to this one girl. We weren't exactly exclusive at that time, and I told him to either go for her or stop being coy about it because other than sending messages, he wouldn't actually make a move. 3, he was an avid collector of hilarious memes. I like memes. He said I could look at his memes. What I thought was his meme folder was not, in fact, memes, but was an enormous collection of child pornography. I dug around, found it on every electronic device you could store video on. I vomited. I didn't know what to do with this earth-shattering discovery as we'd been together from me at 18 to 21. Couple months later, same discovery as 2, but different girl, underage. I ended things. Everything clicked that night. He was 10 years older, he'd been grooming me since I was 14, his performance anxiety as I got older, girl in 2 was too old, etc., etc. Ugh, I hate that one. I did eventually report him to the police, but I regret not doing it when I had the laptop and everything else in my hands. No idea if anything came of it.
His passport? He was actually 2 years older than he said he was. All his family and friends knew, thought it was hilarious. I just dumbfounded like, there was no benefit at all to this lie.
Gambling addiction, online betting.
An ex of mine used to draw me all the time I found it when I was looking for a USB cable on his desk. It was so adorable.
Y'all, I still haven't seen any as weird and gross as the lady that found her husband's secret booger collections.
His ex's nudes on his old iPad definitely has a type LOL.
His address LOL.
What do you mean?
Oh man, I dated a guy for 6 months last year. We've been back in touch 4 months this year, and we're hanging out some again until recently, and I still don't know his address or where he lives.
And topped it all off with a mysterious lover who's a real-life Where's Waldo. Talk about a whirlwind of surprises. To end with a good note, here's a bittersweet story from one of the comments.
My ex-boyfriend used to write me the most incredible love letters. One summer, I moved to Hong Kong for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we broke up due to the distance of being apart. The night I got back, we ran into each other at a local bar, and we got back together that night. I found a stash of letters he had written me while I was away, but he never sent. The letters were 4 to 5 pages long in the most perfect penmanship, and every sentence was so well thought out and beautifully written. When I was gone, I was torn up not having any communication with him, questioning whether he still loved me. Turned out he did. I cried that night reading those letters. Feeling so loved by him, I never told him I found them, but continued to receive letters he would write me throughout our relationship. He also was a pro athlete and was very masculine, perceived as being a tough guy. So writing letters didn't necessarily fit his profile. I absolutely loved it. We broke up years later due to incompatibility. I wanted to travel and explore the world. He didn't. But I'll always remember and hang on to those letters in my mind. They bring me comfort to know how much he loved me, even many years after I have moved on. Lesson learned: never underestimate the value of a handwritten love letter.
From hidden talents, nostalgic treasures, to the most unsettling and disturbing discoveries, these stories remind us that there's always more than meets the eye when it comes to our partners. But amidst the surprises and revelations, there's a reminder that relationships are complex and full of layers waiting to be uncovered. If you've had your own share of oddities, share your tales in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. who knows what other secrets are lurking out there?